Welcome, everybody, to Farming Matters, the storytelling series where you get to hear directly from SARE grantees about their innovative farming and ranching practices. I'm Liz Brownlee. I work for SARE. I'm joined by Marie Flanagan. Marie, you want to say hey?
Welcome to Farming Matters.
Marie's our director and producer. I get to be the host, and I love this because I'm a farmer in Indiana, and I get to talk to these wonderful farmers all across the 12 states in the Midwest and the Plains. And Travis, what really impressed me about your DIY guide is that it's really step by step. It is beginner friendly. I'm not a dairy person. Other than that, livestock person, and I could build this. You really put together a guide that is friendly, and approachable for somebody who's got limited tools and a big need. Today we're going to hear from Travis Hurt. Travis is going to tell us about his low-cost milking parlor DIY guide that he developed with his SARE grant. SARE stands for Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education. We're a part of the USDA that funds innovations and shares them out across the whole of American agriculture. And our grantees are really the core of that work. So, Travis, will you tell us about why you wanted this grant and what you did with the time and money?
Yeah, my name is Travis Hurt. So I'm a dairy farmer up in northern Illinois. And so we were on rented land for a number of years, and we finally were fortunate to purchase a farm, and we had no milking infrastructure. And this is a really common issue for a lot of beginning farmers, especially with dairy, which is so infrastructure intensive. And so this guide was a way that we could share the knowledge we have and we collected and put it out there, hopefully for other farmers to utilize and learn from. So this is the cover page of our guide, and one of the key points of it, and this is all for free for download on our website and also from SARE, is we want to make it tenant farmer friendly, which means that you could, once you had the materials, you could buy it, you could put it up on leased land, and then if it was time to like move farms or something like that, you could take it down and bring it with you. And it could potentially work with like pasture-based milking, like dragging it around the field, but it's really shines where like you could build it and take it down and move farms and not lose your investment. When we moved to our farm, we needed a milking place to milk our cows, and so necessity. And then we also wanted to collaborate with fellow farmers and like share the knowledge that we have, and hopefully that some other folks can benefit from. We based our whole guide on three publications. There's the Trans Iowa Low Cost Milking System. This article by Vance Hogan. You can have a parlor, written Gray's Magazine back in 2001, and remodeled parlors by Dr. David Campbell from University of Wisconsin. And these are all super good, but they don't tell you how to build it. They're just plans. And so I'd study these for a while, and I figure I'm pretty good at building stuff, but I was having a hard time figuring it out. So that was kind of why we wanted to make the guide. If we were having that problem, I'm sure other folks were too. And then one of the most impressive results of this project, I think. So Mr. Hogan, he's the extension agent. He says he's helped farmers build over 60 parlors. And Roger Dalberg, who we visited, he says that was his shining example of a low cost parlor. And then 6 months after we visited Roger and he gave us a tour of his parlor, he passed away. And I think this is extremely special and important because all that knowledge from Mr. Hogan in Roger's parlor would have been just lost. I mean, it would just been just rotted away in that dairy barn forever. And I feel it's like so incredibly fortunate for us to gather that information from those two folks and kind of turn it into this guide, just to pass the knowledge along to like the next generation. And maybe it's not the end all be all, but it's knowledge that they created over a lifetime of farming that we get to pass on. So I think that's like the best part. What's something that we learned that we are adopting, and this came across the board from every farmer we talked to about building these parlors, was it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be complex or expensive, it just needs to work.
Truly.
So this is just a brief overview of the Trans Iowa Parlor, and this is scientific stuff out of the Iowa State Extension. And you look at this plan, you're like, great, it's got all the numbers, but you're like, how do I build this thing? And so I stared at this for a long time, and you're like, okay. And so that was really like figuring it out how someone could build it was our big goal. So this is we went and visited Roger Dalberg at his farm, and he had an awesome scrapbook. He built it for $3,600 back in 1998, which would be roughly like $9,000 today. And he had stopped milking a number of years before, but you can see it's just simple pipes put together, and this really started to clarify what it would look like to build a low cost parlor and take it from like the paper document onto actual how it would look. We talked to Mr. Weaver up in New York. He has a more advanced parlor, some bent pipe and welding, but still super um, simple. And then here's our method. So we started with a concrete slab. We built a pit, but we had all the fittings, and with the pipe, we started laying it out. And you can see here, me and Robbie, we're just like we bolted together and we just started assembling it and trying to figure out this process for other folks to replicate, which was actually pretty difficult. So, like, here's an example of the diagonal bracing we didn't think we needed at first, and then we realized we needed it. And so we're just showing step by step of kind of like how to build this thing, which actually took a while to figure out. So here's an example of a gate that we figured out, which index rail to have the cows indexed on the right angle. So our shelter, we used a mail order carport, which again, for what you get, it's pretty inexpensive. But for committing to doing it without any knowledge if it was going to work, would be like a real like issue for folks. So we're just like demonstrating that like, okay, this is what we did and it worked, and you can maybe adapt this to your dairy or your business. Showing the vacuum line, you could hire the dairy company to come out, but we just wanted to show like you can do it yourself and save a boatload of money. And it's not to take away from other people's businesses, but it's just as farmers, like this is institutional knowledge that maybe it wasn't passed down from like if you didn't come from a multi-generational like dairy farming background. You can get LED lights that are super bright and efficient and put them in and without having to have a electrician come in. And so we're a micro dairy, but the cows are in there, and it shows like the kick rail, and it shows some of the call outs of where it worked. Mariah made us a 5-year pro forma using the low cost parlor, which is super helpful. There's a lot of dairy spreadsheets out there. This one's really basic and kind of gets folks like an easy way you could fill in your numbers. And then what advice would you give producers interested in this idea? My biggest takeaway would make a real financial projections and just like be really specific about your business, and then just trust yourself and to stay positive. I think there's a lot of negativity out there and a lot of folks trying to push you to spend a lot more money, and which might be hard for your business in the future. So just trust yourself, trust your numbers, and stay positive.
That's really beautifully said, Travis. Thank you so much for sharing about this guide. I mean, it's like 60 pages or more, right? I don't remember how many pages it is. I apologize.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It's a lot. But you just did such a beautiful job, and you shared some of the example pages here of, here's exactly what you need to do step by step. These are the cuts, these are the materials, here's how we laid them out. And I think that was very helpful. And then to end with the financial piece of it, would you scroll up just a little bit to that pro forma? So if somebody's, trying to think about if this investment, because I think you built it for about 9 grand, right?
Yes.
So definitely check the box of a low cost parlor. I'm sure you could spend a whole lot more. So if they're looking at this, they can look at how many cows they're thinking of trying to milk and what their inputs would be, and does it also show how this infrastructure plays into that?
Yeah, it does. This is just one page, but we have the infrastructure, like your upfront costs, the cow upfront costs, their maintenance costs. You can put in some other costs if you have those, if you have rent, or you can expand it how to include as much as you like. Labor, if you have employees, or just you want to factor yourself into there, then kind of gives you a rough idea of how much you like your revenue and costs would be.
That's great. That's really neat. And I think that's such a critical piece of the puzzle, because it's one thing to say, yes, we could do it, but is it going to pencil out in the end? Is the implied other question. And the plans that you talked about starting this project with, they don't always talk about exactly how to build it or how the numbers will pencil out. So good work. And do I remember from your guide that this style of a milking parlor is pretty common in other parts of the world, but not so common here in the States?
Yeah, I think it's called, like a New Zealand style swing parlor, and I think it's gaining in popularity. And there's a lot of folks that use it in the United States, but it's definitely like more popular in elsewhere in the world.
Got you. Got you. I love that you learned from the folks who had them here. What was it like calling those gentlemen up and saying like, can I come take pictures of your parlor?"
Yeah, well, Roger was super nice, and I'm like, I don't know, I've been cold calling old farmers for a long time, and so you kind of get a thick skin. And so I called him up, and we brought him lunch, and he was happy to talk about it. And this, I know he built it in '98, which, so he was a real trendsetter, and then milked in it for 20 years. So he spent a lot of his time in that in his barn and in that parlor. And so I think he was really proud to kind of show. And I think he did realize that, like, um, sharing that information, like, he has it, and it could be really helpful to somebody.
The only other question I would ask Travis is, we do get, we get applications from people who want to put together some sort of guide as part of their SARE grant. Do you have advice for other farmers who are wanting to share out a DIY process?
I tried to make it really step by step, and I throughout the build, there was a rotating cast of characters that would help me, and then we'd always get to a spot that was like kind of complex, and they'd be like, "Oh, well, let's just do it this way," and it was kind of like a hack or like a very custom maneuver. Um, and for me, that wouldn't really be helpful to someone, because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm just going to reinvent the wheel, then they would just have to do the same thing. So we tried to, every time we got to one of those decisions, we were like, should we change the design so it can be, someone can like build it. This isn't going to go on a tangent, but you're like watching like a YouTube video on how to do something, and then it gets to like the hardest part, like the crux, and all of a sudden it like stops and starts again, and they're already past it, and you're like, okay, that was the part that I can't figure out how to do. And so I tried to really avoid that. And so that someone, if they did have this, it was like an old USDA field guide or something. That, like, if you just had the printed book and you're out in like windswept Kansas in like the 30s, you could like, build this thing and, and provide. So that was my, like, kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for doing this work, for sharing out about it. I feel like you've really embodied what SARE tries to do, to innovate and share. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, it's my pleasure. I loved it.